What's up, guys? This is I'm gonna try to keep this as short as I can because I've already done a teardown video and it was like an hour long of how to install this remote line adapter. So I'm gonna show you how to put the aftermarket breach in here. This is the stock breach. I've already removed it from mine. I've been using this, I don't know, a week or so with the aftermarket breach, which can shoot shaped projectiles like MCS Devastators and whatever other things you can find that are shaped. I think rubber steel balls, or I don't know what that company's name is, but they make rubber steel shaped ammo. So anyways, I already loosened up all these screws. You should take out the magazine, make sure that there's no gas in your marker before you do any of this, because you don't want stuff to fly apart whenever you're disassembling this thing. So remove your magazine, remove your barrel, make sure there's no gas. I'm going to put this on the table real quick and then get a magnet to pull these screws out. So yeah, I got this aftermarket breach block from a eBay store. The guy's name is Master Sconi. I think he used to have them on Amazon too. They're about the same price no matter where you buy them. I think that he even has his own website. It's like mastersconi.com or something. You could probably really easily find it on Google or something. So yeah, I'm just going to pull all these screws out that I've already loosened up before I started recording, just to try to make this a little bit faster. And yeah, I don't know, I find it's easier to keep everything together. These two front screws that I removed, I usually just keep them attached to this front part so that I don't have to put them with my pile of screws over there. And there's this pin. Hold on real quick. All right, there's a pin right here you have to, push through. It's just a pin. You can really easily remove it and hold your thumb right here and pull up, and this whole thing just comes out, and that pin goes in this hole. So I usually just leave all that stuff together, like off to the side over here, so that, I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I just don't want to have like a pile of screws. All the screws are basically the same length, and there's a little bit of minor differences between them. And this screw is hidden underneath this piece, so after you take that piece off, you'll see this screw. And all these top screws along the top of the rail are all the same length, same thread, same everything. So once you loosen them up, you can take them out and you don't have to worry about which order they go in or anything like that, because they're all the same. So there's 5 of the shorter screws, and 6 of the sort of longer ones with flat heads, and then 1 medium length screw, which goes on the handle down here. This like this little shorter screw right here. It goes on the sorry, it's out of frame. This little screw goes down here, and all of these screws are basically the same, and they all have flat heads. The only ones that are different are these two on the bolt, or like the bumper, the stock. These are round head and they're longer, so you do want to put these. They can go in any order. They just put the round ones, the round button head ones, right here, because yeah, you need these longer ones to fit, to secure the marker together. This is where all the pressure is, because there's a spring that goes this way. When I open this up right now, you'll see it. Anyways, after you take all the screws out, underneath where your magazine goes, there's a little like notch you have to undo. So I find it easiest just to put your thumb here, your finger in here, and kind of push against each other like that. And you undo this little notch thing. If you don't do that, you're going to have a hard time trying to take it apart, because that little puzzle piece is like keeping it all together. I'm going to raise my camera up a little bit. Hopefully All right. So after you take off all the screws, you remove this screw, you put everything wherever you want it to be, wherever you want it to go. You can do whatever you want. This is just the way I've done it because I've taken this thing apart so many times. You pull this apart slowly. Like I said, the pressure is right here because there's a spring and stuff right there. So slowly take it apart. It's not going to go, it shouldn't. Mine hasn't done that yet. And there's nothing in this. If you have the stock breach, this one, if you have the stock one in there, there's going to be a little orange thing right here on the shell. And that's to keep the ball in place or your round in place. I'll get my little bag of parts and show you what those look like. If you've seen one of my more recent videos, I've shown you these little pieces. There's one in here right now. This is the this dirty one right here. This is the original one of the original ones that was in my marker. So yeah, they go in this block and they hold the ball in place. If you have them the wrong way, I'll show you how to do this. But if you have them the wrong way, they're going to snap when the bolt goes forward and pushes and stuff. So after you take that shell off, after you see that your detent is either in that shell or stuck on this boulder thing right here, like there'll be an orange thing right here. Doesn't matter, just find it. Pull this airline off, and this thing can swivel and it can go like in and out. So and it's secured. As long as you don't take off the screws on the other side, this thing is like secured in here with some screws on the back. There's one here and there's one kind of hidden. I'll move the camera so you can see it. But you don't have to worry about this piece popping off or something. So pull this off, move this down, pinch this part and pull this. Before you do any of this stuff, you're going to want to have grease, and you're going to want to have some sort of oil, like paintball marker oil or mineral oil or silicone oil. Silicone oil is probably best. That's what I've been trying to use constantly, silicone oil. So this part, I'll turn on my light real quick. It's easiest to push down on this with your thumb and hold your hand on the back here. So hold this down and push this in and kind of lift up. So I'm pushing it in and lifting up just a little bit. You don't need to do it all crazy or nothing. So now this is pressure's off. Nothing's going to go flying out of your marker or anything. This is the aftermarket breach. So yours, if you haven't done this to your marker yet, yours is like this. Let me try to line all this up without knocking over the camera. So yeah, yours is probably looking like this, just stock. So yeah, you're gonna remove this piece and put your new one on. So pinch down, pull out, pull up, and then this will come off. And now it's stuck or something. Oh, I put it on the wrong way. So one side of this breech has threads, and that should be pointing that way because your barrel needs to thread in to those threads. So yeah, it just threads in like this. So make sure whenever you put your new breech adapter on that the threads are facing, toward the front of the marker so that this can fit in and screw in. And then the other side, so the threads are on one side, which is like the front of the marker, and on the back side it's smooth, and that's where your bolt is going to like press in, and then there's a O-ring that bumps. So I'm just going to put all this stuff to the side. This is the stock breech we don't need anymore. You can just hold it in case you want to go back to having the stock one. This is the new breech from Master Sconi. It only has one of those little orange detent things. So the detent, it goes inside on the shell right here. There's like a squared opening. You want this to be this way because the ball is going, the front of the ball is going to hug against this, and it keeps the ball from rolling out the front of the barrel. So these will get worn out. You may want to buy a couple of these. They're only like, I don't know, $1.50, $2 on most websites. They're pretty cheap. And yeah, it just goes in right there. And then it'll line up with this hole, because that hole's on the other side. The Master Sconi one only has one detent, which for like a less lethal use is better because there's less pressure holding back the round from flying out the barrel. When you have two detents on, it slightly slows down the round flying out the barrel, but not too much. I'm just going to grease this up a little bit because I wanted to put more grease on my follower, or like bolt guide, or I think it's called a power tube. I wanted to put more grease on it because I did this the other day on Saturday, just 2 days ago. But I saw a video on like a maintenance video, and there is not like an excessive amount of grease, but there's a lot of grease on their bolts when they put like their power tube bolt guide, this thing that I'm putting oil on. There's a pretty good amount of this thing I'm putting grease on. There's a pretty good amount of grease on their bolt guide power tube thing. So I just want to make sure it's lubed up good, because I don't want anything dumb to happen to this. And yeah, after that, I mean, I just oiled and greased everything, so I'm not putting extra oil or grease on anything. But you can if you want. You want to oil up basically these little tubes, these little brass tubes. There's a red O-ring on the inside of this too. It's easy to pull out, but I already oiled and greased mine. So, and I've only shot like 20 rounds or something out of it. So I'm gonna put grease on that bolt guide power tube thing. Put a couple drops of oil on this guy. Smear it around a little bit. When I reassemble this, I'm going to put the Sconi shaped adapter on there, shaped breach adapter on there. So yeah, this is all good. This is pretty lubed up pretty good. I'm going to get my bolt and just kind of like turn it and spread that grease around more evenly. So yeah, it's lubed up now. And I already lubed out this outside, but I guess I could just hit it again. Doesn't hurt. This is the O-ring that I switched. A CO2 tank or HPA tank O-ring will fit this. And it fits pretty good. Like, I've only shot this a few times since I've changed it. It doesn't look damaged or anything. It looks pretty good still. But I'll probably have to, since I shoot this marker kind of often, I'll probably check this out like every 2 to 3 months and make sure that everything's greased up, just depending how much I shoot it. If I don't shoot it that much, I won't have to, do this type of maintenance very often on it. But the more you shoot something, you should probably open it up if possible and do this type of stuff to it. This one's really easy to work on. The Byrna SD looks like a pain in the ass, so I'm gonna just try to keep oiling it as best as I can and prevent myself from having to open up the whole thing, because it looks like a pain to tear apart the Byrna SD or the LE or the EP. Any of those things, they look like a pain in the ass. A lot of little parts and springs and stuff, just a headache, it seems like. But eventually it will fail at some point. Hasn't happened yet, but it's a very reliable less lethal launcher. And so you want to put that last. I just put grease on it. So this is the bolt spring. This is that bumper O-ring. It kind of moves around as you shoot. It's not going to stay in the same place. So you don't have to worry about like placing it here and it staying right here, because it's probably going to end up moving. But you can just put it there. Make sure the threads are facing that way. And so the barrel can thread in. Because if you put this backwards, it's not going to work. The barrel's not going to fit into the marker. So my little bumper O-ring just came out right now. So yeah, put the O-ring in here on the smooth side. Put your bolt spring in there. It's pretty stiff. Everything's all lubed up and stuff. I'll put oil on after. You probably want to pinch this and lift it just so that the regulator, which is the thing on my thumb, doesn't fall out. Or I mean, it can turn and stuff, but you just don't want it to fall out. So line up the bolts and the spring, and then on the shell there's a cutout that's shaped like this, like a rectangle right here. It's kind of hard to see because everything's black, but I usually just push it together and then place it into the marker. And this buttstock, it also fits in to the shell right here. So when everything's in place, it'll kind of click into place, and it won't be moving around, and nothing's going to be like crooked or anything. So if you put this together and stuff is crooked, or it's like bulging, or it's not wanting to fit right or something, just check where the shell is, and you'll see a cutout of where these pieces are supposed to go. So yeah, I'm just going to struggle with this for a second. Make sure your detent is right there, and make sure that it's swooping. I'll show you one right here. Make sure that the little orange thing is on the bottom of the shell, and make sure it's lined up like this, but down here. So like that, and then right there. And you just need one of these for this aftermarket breach. I believe the TiPX remote line adapter, or no, the TiPX long range conversion kit, it comes with a shaped breach block, and that one has 2 detents. So you could either get this Master Sconi one, or you can get the TiPX long range kit and use the Tippmann Shaped Breach. That kit comes with an extra magazine and a bolt spring and some other stuff, like random little O-rings and miscellaneous fittings and stuff. So you could do whatever you want. I don't have an extra 12-round magazine, so I was considering buying that kit for the extra magazine, but the way it looks, I'm probably just going to get the 2-pack of 12-round TiPX magazines and either give one to my brother because he has one of these too, or I'll just keep both. So this is all good to go. The stock is a little bit uneven with the front. Like if I let this go, it's not going to go, but you want to be mindful. It'll kind of support itself, but I usually use the sights and I put them underneath just to have like a sort of like a kind of like keep it level, because it's not level. This part is down further and this part is up further, the stock. So you can use like a pad or a shirt, or you can use these sights, or if you're good enough at doing this, or if you've done this a bunch of times, you don't have to worry about it. But this is pretty much good to go. My factory one is just over here chilling. My second detent obviously can't fit right here because there's no hole for it to go. And I'm going to wipe off my hands really quick and then show you how the detent should be aligned on the inside. And you'll want to check this before you tighten everything up, because if it's not correct, you're going to have to undo everything, because this is like kind of important. So that little orange thing in there, this is the way you want it to look. So when there's a round in there, it's going to be hugging the front of the ball or round or whatever. So yeah, it's going to be like that. So say my finger was the round, it's touching the front and it's not going to fall out the front. And then when the bolt comes forward, if this thing is backwards, it's going to rip it. So if this is not the way you want it to look in there. You do not want it to be this way. You want it to be that way. So yeah, that's it. It's pretty easy. pretty much done now. I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil on that bolt and the spring, and then try not to knock everything off my table. Let me fix this camera really quick. All right, so yeah, so this is all good. You just need to put your little gas line, move this down, push it back into here. I'll probably put a little bit of grease on it just for the hell of it. So putting grease, putting the rest of the grease, smear it around. So it goes in this hole. There's a hole on this thing. It's kind of hard to see because everything's black, but you'll see if you take it apart. It's not that hard. And yeah, just make sure that you're not pushing down too much on this, or it will kind of like start bowing. It's not hard to fix, but it's just something to be mindful of. And then just line this up and push this piece in, and this tube will be good. You can kind of move this around a little bit if you need to, because the shell has like a cutout where that line goes, or where this tube goes. So just try to keep it straight. It'll basically be right above this safety, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna put a couple drops of oil on this bolt and the spring, and just kind of move it around a little bit. And yeah, this thing's pretty much, it's good to go. You can get your left side of the shell, put it over. You can line up this with the safety, and the only thing that can get hung up every once in a while is the magazine release, which is right here. So just line up the safety with that hole, kind of support the back of this right here where my hand is, so that it doesn't go and fly out. And then just kind of push it down. It caught a little bit. If you have a fingernail, you can sometimes push that magazine release out. If not, just kind of push it out with a screwdriver or an Allen head or something, and just kind of like pull it out of there, because sometimes it gets caught. So if it doesn't want to go together, if you're getting a little bit of like a weird pressure, just kind of like jiggle it around a little bit. It could be this line misaligned, but it's pretty much good. Like, it's all lined up now. I'm holding it together. Make sure you snap this back into place. And then the first bolts that I usually tighten first are the round head ones that go on the stock, because that's where all the pressure is, as far as like parts that can dislodge or move around or whatever. So just push those in. The only thing it's threading into is the shell on the back. So this came with your Byrna TCR. It should have, if you bought it from Byrna. If you don't have those parts, I don't know what size it is, but it's probably like, I have no idea what size it is, but these will tighten up. Once you feel it like get snug, you don't have to go crazy on it. Just tighten it up till it's snug, and then just do like a quarter turn after, or not even, like an eighth of a turn. Not even that much, because it's grabbing into metal nuts on the back, and they don't typically fall out, but sometimes they fall out. So that's where they grabbed. And I'm just going to put all the screws back, and then it's pretty much it, guys. So I'll just tighten this all down, but I really have nothing else to add to this, or like any random little like tip or anything. So yeah, I usually do these, and then I do like these, maybe like this one and one of these top ones, and then at least the corners are all tightened up, and I don't have to worry about like anything coming apart or whatever. But basically, once you get these two bolts in and tightened down, you really don't have to worry about anything like flying apart or coming apart or anything. And just make sure that you put this screw there on the farthest one out, and then tighten it down. And yeah, just tighten down everything, put all these little screws on the top because that's where they go. The round button heads go right here, and they're also the longest screws. And then just tighten everything down. And after I'm done doing this, I'm going to put this piece back on and then pretty much call it a wrap. So this is almost done. Yeah, it's a really easy install. That Master Sconi breach is like $30 plus shipping, so you're probably looking around $38, $40, depending where you live, if you pay taxes and stuff like that. And it's really easy to install. If you decide to put in the TiPX remote line adapter, you could do both of them at the same time. And yeah, I'm almost done. This is the last longer bolt to tighten down, and then I'm going to put the CO2 thingy back in. So this goes in first, and it should snap in. And then this pin, there's a fat side, and that fat side goes on the bottom, and it should just push in. And then if you want to see the top, there's the top of the pin, and then yeah, the like fatter side is on the bottom, like the hat of the pin, I guess. So that just goes in there like that, and then you can push this piece over, and then it just goes over, and that pin's held in place by this shell being there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's done. I'm just gonna put the barrel in, put the sights back on, and then put away all this stuff off my table and call it a day. So I will probably do one of those Byrna SD 12-gram adapter videos. I still have to meet up with my brother and get his. It could be the end of this week. It could be tomorrow. It's just like I work and stuff, so it's not like I'm just chilling at home all day or anything. Like I'm an active adult. I have stuff to do. This is the front sight because it has that little like needle on the top, so you can sight up your shot. And I usually put it doesn't matter where you put it, wherever you're more comfortable, but I usually put it with this screw, like somewhere near it. So probably like I guess like right here. Yeah, probably like right there. And then the back sight, like I said, it really doesn't matter where you put it, as long as you can get a good line of sight with wherever you put it. You obviously don't want to put them like right here and here. That's just dumb. But if you put this back one where the end of the sight and the end of the rail line up, that seems to be fine for me. And like right there should be fine. This one, sometimes the nut falls out on my TCR, so the nut fell out of the back. But you just push it into the housing and then hold the nut in place and screw this in. So that's good and tight. And then this one's going to be good and tight in a second. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to put my grip back on. This is the grip I got from my local paintball store. It was like $10. I feel like it's more comfortable than the little like short nub thing that Byrna gives you. I mean, it's not bad. I might put that little foregrip, the Byrna foregrip, the TCR foregrip, the original one. I might put it like on a different launcher that I have. But the only thing is this kind of the alignment. Like if you're like one of those people that wants everything to look super clean and stuff, this is gonna bug you because the alignment isn't the best. So it's either right here blocking that little finger hole, or it's like I can't put it any closer to the trigger guard because then the Picatinny rail doesn't line up. Like I'm pushing on one of the rails right here. That's where it would look cleanest. So it's either going to be, for me at least, I'm pretty sure everyone's TCRs are pretty much lined up the same. but it's going to be right here where it blocks off this finger hole slightly, or it'll be even more blocked off, like right here probably. Yeah, or you can go like how I do it and just basically cover up that entire finger hole. But even then, it's still kind of off a little bit. But I mean, I don't care. It's pretty comfortable like this, the way I have it, with it completely blocking off that little finger grip thing. And I can hold this really well. And when I had it back here, as far back as I could put it, I felt like it was a little bit too close to the actual handle with the trigger and stuff. This feels better for me. And yeah, your TCR should be good to go. There's really nothing else that I know of mod wise that I could do to this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make sure that your barrel can thread in. Don't cross thread your barrel because it's aluminum into aluminum. So it's not easy to do it, but it's not that hard to cross thread it. And if you cross thread your barrel and your breech, you're going to probably need to buy a new one. So just be careful with that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll probably make some videos on this later on in the future, but for now, I'll just call it a night, and good luck if you try putting in your breech and stuff. If you have any issues or questions or anything, I'll try to link a maintenance video that helped me figure out what was wrong when my TCR was just blowing out gas. There's a really good maintenance video from my local paintball store, and they have it's like a 1 hour long maintenance video of every single O-ring in here and every single screw and every single Allen key, and everything in here is covered in that video. So I'll link it either in the description, or I'll just make a comment and pin it. So yeah, have a good one and good luck.